This week on the show, we go behind the scenes at the Clinic Colorado to tell you what type of automated harvesting equipment they use and how it's impacted their growth. We complain about getting off an airplane, the worst, right? And we share our favorite and least favorite things of the week. My name's Tim Stromble. Welcome to Rooted. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks for tuning in wherever you are, and don't forget to check out our social accounts at Stay Rooted across the board. And of course, if you have feedback for the show, just go ahead and forget about it. Because let's be honest, you're too lazy to send it to anyone who's actually going to read it, so it's pretty pointless. Forget about it. Move on. So recently I had a chance to visit with my friends over at the Clinic Colorado, a multiple award-winning cultivation and dispensary right here in my backyard in Colorado. You have to check them out if you're out here, by the way. They do great work. And I got to go behind the scenes and check out their harvesting area, which was pretty cool. I saw they used a lot of different machines in their harvesting process. And as I was walking through the harvest area, I noticed most of the machines were produced by our friends over at Green Bros, the fine folks who are also our interview sponsor for the Rooted podcast, as well as our interviews here on RootdTV. So I figured I would take a camera along and ask them some questions about their equipment, how it's impacted their process, and how they'll be celebrating their 10-year anniversary here in 2019. Crazy, 10 years is a long time in this industry. Take a look. All right, we're here with Matthew Stafford. He is the Director of National Operations for the Clinic, one of the most popular brands in America when it comes to cannabis. Matthew, our sponsor on our show and our interview sponsor is Green Bros. You guys use a ton of Green Bros equipment in your harvesting, and you've grown really with them in terms of bringing their equipment in as the years have gone on. Can you talk about that relationship and some of the equipment that they've brought in?
It's really been an organic relationship, and it's kind of just symbiotic in the way that we work together. It started off hearing about the trimmers, and I went through a lot of different trimmers, and in all honesty, I was against them for so long. And I demoed all of them, and I see people using them, and they have their arguments for them, and that's fine. I would never argue against it. It just didn't work for us and what the quality we were trying to produce. We really strove for that quality, that fine hand trim, what people really like when they open that bag or that jar, something they can kind of show off, something they can look at, see all the trichomes, not seeing any crow's feet. And then I got a demo and I heard about this Green Bros trimmer, and I remember I sat here all weekend and I just ran through as many strains as I could. I was running through indicas, sativas, hybrids, and I was putting it to the test with like sage, sour diesel, stuff that's really airy, something that could, foxtail out, especially sage, and just really put it through the test to see, what it could do. And after that weekend, it was something that I brought in the COO of our company, Ryan Cook, and I said, you need to see what this actually did, and we need to see what we can do to try and get this in here and how we can incorporate it into the clinic's quality and also just speed up our workflow. Because as this industry is growing, it's something that everyone needs to do. You need to be able to speed up these processes, and automation is key. You look at any other industry and automation is everywhere. I think a lot of people think that means that people are going away, but with automation you still need operators, but it allows your people to get out of these kind of like mindless activities, like sitting there for hours and hours hand trimming, when, a Green Bros trim machine can get me 85-90% of the way there, and then literally just have some people check just to make sure there aren't any stems coming out or anything like that. Give everything just a once over to maintain that quality. But, as Green Bros started coming out with new products, the Cannabis, the Alchemist, we created kind of a relationship to allow us to demo those products and then, give feedback. They really appreciated the feedback, which we really appreciated demoing those products. And as that happened, we started taking on those products, using them, and then we went from the trimmer and the Cannabis, and then the Alchemist, and then to the Batcher, which is right behind us.
So if you could, Matthew, talk about this machine here and maybe what you were doing beforehand and how it's changed now that you're able to bring in a piece of technology like this and what it can do for you.
So bringing in a piece of technology like this is something, and especially with the upgrades, is something that's been incredible. So we used to have, just a whole staff of people that were sitting in a room weighing things out. Yep. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, That's too much. And then you go look for a bud that's a little bit small. Now that's too little. And if you think about the time that it takes to package one bag when you're going, doing it at that scale, you're using a lot of time, and that's a lot of valuable time that could be eyes on the plants, that could be, spent rolling joints, pre-rolls, a lot of other things, focusing on the curing, these other aspects. And so bringing this in just really sped it up and also allowed for that accuracy. The fact that you can, kind of scale to a uniform bud that you want in that bag, and also the number of buds. So you're making sure that you have a large bud, maybe 2 medium buds, and a couple of small in order to make this, to make the bags uniform across the board, is something that really it was kind of like a no-brainer now that you think about it. But how do you get the technology to do that? I don't know, but I know it works.
What I love about what you said too is you're taking people who may have been sitting with a little jar and trying to hand package and get it just right, and you're not eliminating those jobs. This machine right here, one person on top, one person on bottom, and then you take the rest of that staff and you can have them doing those other things like you mentioned. So that in this industry right now, people hear automation and they get scared. They think they're going to lose jobs. They think the world's coming to an end for a lot of the people who are lower level employees working their way up, but it's actually quite the opposite, right?
It's definitely the opposite. I mean, it opens them up as opposed to doing a monotonous job and having to spend hours doing it, let alone thinking about the ergonomics that they have to, and people being able to get hurt on the job, because they have to sit for hours at a time and these sorts of things. You're able to open up those people to do other things. And when you open people up to be able to do other things and look at, other processes other than just trimming or just packaging throughout the day, they come up with ideas that are going to help, the company, the product, and that's something that's really special. You need to allow those people because they're the experts. They're the ones hands-on doing it all day, every day, and being able to give them that a little bit of space and maneuverability within the departments in order to understand it and see it from a perspective that I might not see it or someone else might not see it from, and be able to speak up. It kind of pushes everything to the next envelope, to the limit a little bit, and that's something that I think is a huge plus.
Now you guys are celebrating your 10-year anniversary.
10 years.
2009 you were founded. I mean, you must have been one of the first out here, but how crazy is it to look back at this 10 years later to see what it is now? And if I'm not mistaken, you guys are doing consulting like all over the country, right?
We are, yeah. So 10 years, I mean, it feels like the blink of an eye, really. I mean, I think about, where we started just in certain retrofitted facilities and, what we've been able to grow into and looking at the plans as to what we're going to grow into. And it's something that's just really, really exciting to see. And with that, as you just said, I appreciate it, is the clinic consulting, which is a branch that we started. We saw a need. There are a lot of other consultants out there, but we saw a need for us to, as operators, go out there and help people. We're not just coming in and telling you how to do it, or trying to audit and assess and help you grow your business. We're doing it in the same way. We have that reputation, and with us being operators, it's allowed us to expand a lot more because there's a lot of trust in the clinic's name, and that's something that we convey to everyone that we work with.
Matthew Stafford, Director of National Operations for The Clinic. You check them out on Instagram, The Clinic Colorado, their 10-year anniversary. This year, they're going to have all kinds of events, fun stuff. They do a charity golf tournament, which is really fun. I know you've been are you a good golfer?
No, I'm not a good golfer at all. No.
So enter the tournament.
But it's still really fun.
Or you can donate and you can help Matthew, or go watch him make a fool out of himself on the golf course. Did they let you golf, or do they make you run like the beer?
I run around doing the podcast now. Yeah, that's what I do. But it's all for a great cause too. So it's for the MS Society and it's for the Rocky Mountain MS Center, which is a really big deal. So we were able to raise over $100,000 last year, and so we're continually looking to push that. We'll have a bit more with our friends over at the clinic in just a little bit towards the end of the show. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we get to our Whine of the Week. Be right back. Welcome back into the show, where it's time for my favorite segment here on RootdTV, and that's Whine of the Week, where we take the mundane and often overlooked aspects of our daily lives and blow them way out of proportion, all in an attempt to incite change into the world. Now, on our last show, we discussed the perils of dropping off someone at the airport or picking them up, so we figured we would keep the momentum going with another airport rant. You know it. This time we have a huge problem with the way that people get off of airplanes. The worst. By the way, can you tell that we've been traveling lately? Anyways,
I was getting off a plane out here in Denver, but it really doesn't matter where or when because it's been like this as far back as I can remember, and I know you've experienced it too. Here's what I'm talking about. The plane lands. It pulls up to the gate. The fasten seatbelt sign goes off, and the entire plane goes from chill to freak out in under a second. As soon as the plane hits the gate, even the people in the back of the plane immediately stand up and crowd the center aisle like they're going to try to get into the front of the line for Nickelback tickets. Let's go, we gotta get them before they sell out. I don't know if they listen to Nickelback, it's just the kind of music I imagine these douche nozzles listen to. Anyway, this makes me mad on multiple fronts. First, I always sit in the window seat, so now I'm just face level with everyone's fart maker, just wearing it. And trust me, people have been baking some sour bread the entire flight. It never fails. By the way, that's why I hate sitting anywhere while surrounded by a group of people. I know I can smell fart. I just don't know who it's coming from. Although sometimes I do smell a fart, and I just like to look around me and imagine who it could have been and what they might have eaten before the flight to cause that kind of disaster to my face. I smell broccoli? She must have had some broccoli. Yeah, she's a healthy eater, broccoli. Anyways, so now I'm face level with all these crap cannons, but I can't stand because I'm 6'4", and the overhead bin would make me hunch over and kill my back. So it's a predicament. I gotta sit there and wear it. Then you have the people who sit in the back of the plane and just complain about why is it taking so long for people to get off the plane? You gotta get off faster, I gotta go. The answer is that you should have bought a better seat, right? Checked in earlier, or even sprung the extra 15 bucks for early bird check-in if you're Southwest, sit towards the front of the plane. It's your fault. The plane always takes the same amount of time for people to get off it, a long time. Always happens that way. What's funny is you have no patience the entire time other people are getting off the plane, but when it comes to you, you're like, let me slowly get my bag and put my backpack on, make sure my straps are good. Okay, let's go. Like you think it's your time to shine and you just want to be noticed in your moment of glory, you're a star. Just remember, in that moment, no one likes you. We just want you to get off the plane so we can have our own moment in the sun when we're getting off the plane. The last person that drives me crazy is the guy who doesn't obey the clear order established by the row system. As soon as the plane hits the gate, this guy grabs all his stuff and sprints as far up into the front of the plane as he can, proving that the 3 minutes he'll save by getting off the plane slightly faster than you is more valuable than the time of anyone else on the plane. Everyone knows it's your turn when the row in front of you is empty, then you can grab your stuff and you can go. But this guy has to go rogue. I see you, buddy. We all see you. We don't like it. We look at you while you're doing this and we all agree you're what's wrong with the world. Enjoy that bad juju. I hope they lost your bag and your friend is late picking you up. Okay, that's mean. I shouldn't have said that. This guy probably has no friends. At least I know I wouldn't be friends with a guy like that. Neither should you. Okay, despite the fact that all this stuff puts me in a terrible mood by the time I actually get off the plane, I still take the time to thank the flight attendants and the pilot if I see them because I'm a good person and I encourage you all to do the same. Spread the positive energy. Okay, so do you want to share what you dislike or like about getting off a plane or another whine of the week? Hit us up, Stay Rooted on Twitter, and we'll try to get your whine of the week in a future show. Maybe you'll be lucky. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Earlier we talked with Matthew Stafford, the Director of Operations for The Clinic, one of the nation's top cannabis dispensaries. Let's jump back over to their facility and learn a little bit more about the industry-leading equipment they use in their harvesting process. All right, we're still with Matthew here. Matthew, we moved over to this machine. It's called the Sorter, also from Green Bros. A couple shows ago, we talked with Cullen Riker, founder of Green Bros, and we talked about the Sorter and why it was useful. But you hear it from the CEO of the company who makes it, and you think, oh, you know, he might be a homer for the machine. You actually use the machine, and you show people the benefits to using it. So why should people be sorting? What's the advantage?
Yeah, we actually have people coming through all the time to see this piece of equipment. I mean, you saw the Batcher, us standing in front of it. That used to kind of be the main showcase, and now this is really the piece that everybody wants to see. Sorting your product, whether it's before going into the trim machine, can be very, very helpful because then you're putting things in that are the same size. So as it's running through the trim machine and it's spinning around, you're actually making sure that it's getting all of those buds, you know, uniformly, and it's getting through. But then also for packaging before it goes into the Batcher, you know, there are a lot of small buds that you don't want to get into the jars or into the bags, because if you do that, you know, people are going to complain. They don't want just tiny little bags of shake, and this really helps sort it out on these smaller edges right here. So basically, it'll come down here and it'll start running through these bands, and these bands are very, very gentle on the product. And basically, as it comes through, we're being able to separate out the product that we're going to be able to grind into pre-rolls, and then we're able to separate out the larger buds and like the medium-sized buds, which when you take that to the top of the batcher, it makes that machine even more efficient, because that machine is about as efficient as the operator up top and being able to drop the weighments in. And so if you're already able to separate out those medium size and those larger size buds and have an operator up there being able to drop it, you're pushing the machine a lot faster, and you're also ensuring that all of those bags are more uniform as well. So I don't know if you've ever sat down and tried to sort through, you know, at least say like a pound of product in order to get all the small buds and shake and things like that out. I mean, it could take an hour, hour and a half, you know, to get through it. And like this, it's literally just a couple of minutes.
Well, I know that Sarah, who's your DTCP operator, who handles a lot of the post-harvest here at the clinic, is working with the Model M trimmer. So maybe we go check that out real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
let's do it.
So, all right, now we're here with Sarah Demboski. She is the DTCP operator here at the clinic. That's dry, trim, cure, and package. Sarah, I know you guys had the Green Bros 420. It was the initial model that Matthew talked about that had to really work its way in here. Now you have the Model M, and it's really one of the first ones they put out, like the sample Model M. Can you tell me kind of what the differences are and why you like it?
Sure, yeah, I mean, we love it straight off the bat. Just the cleanability of the model. It's all stainless from top to bottom. You can pull out all of the big pieces, you can pull out all of the little pieces, really scrub them down, and quickly too. There's not any nuts and bolts you have to unscrew, it just all kind of comes out on its own. So, you know, as far as microbials go and just ease of sanitation between batches and things like that, this one is, you know, you can't really beat it.
What are your thoughts when you see a piece of new technology come in like this from a company like Green Bros, who you've used other stuff? Do you get excited when stuff comes in and like ready to test it, or do you get anxious not knowing?
You know, it's a little bit of both, but we've worked so long with Green Bros now that, you know, it's much more excitement than anxiousness. Just overall, their products have been easy to use and easy to train on, easy to maintain, and easy to clean. So we're always excited to get the new Green Bros in here.
So Sarah, thank you very much for showing this. Matthew showed us a couple other machines. It was great to see these things in action. We're out of MJ Biz. I didn't get to see any action there. There's no flower at those shows. It's so frustrating. You just want to see these machines in action. But before we go, big congratulations. The clinic's turning 10 years old, started in 2009, it's 2019. It's the 10th anniversary.
It is, yeah.
Let's put management on the hot plate here. Are they getting anything 10 for you? What kind of present would you want?
I certainly hope so. You know, it's 10 years of hard work, so.
Wait, 10 years of hard work or 10 years?
Both.
Big time thanks to Matthew, Sarah, and the entire team at the clinic for having us out to learn about their awesome harvest process. Some amazing innovation on display, and they were more than accommodating while we were shooting. Thank you so much for having us out. Don't forget, the clinic is celebrating their 10-year anniversary this year, and they'll be doing a ton of fun things with their fans, like promotions, sales, and events. So you'll want to pay attention to their social accounts, which you can find right here as Tim points to social on TV. Also, don't forget to check out the Rooted podcast for great featured interviews every week, including our amazing upcoming interviews with Tommy Chong and Jim Belushi. Ever heard of them? I have. They're huge in the space, and we asked them some really fun stuff. You can catch it on iTunes, SoundCloud, or StayRooted.com, and the full video version of the interviews are on our YouTube page as well, which is linked on our website. Now, before we say goodbye, we want to share with you our favorite and least favorite things of the week. Let's go ahead and kick it off in a positive way, as last show we told you about a new study that showed states with a medical cannabis program in place actually saw a small reduction of teenage cannabis use, like 1%, but still reduction, which is counter to what many anti-legalization cannabis haters would have you believe, so we have to talk about it. Well, we want to pile on this week as a new study, unrelated to the last study, shows no link between how tough or relaxed the rules are and the percentage of teen cannabis use. That's right, there was no correlation between tough cannabis policy and decreased use, or loose cannabis policy and increased use. Crazy, right? The bottom line is that teens are using cannabis the same as they've ever used it, regardless of the policy in place, and the selective punishment of cannabis possession in certain locations has made no impact on overall cannabis use. Now, I'm against teenage cannabis use entirely myself, unless it's for medical reasons. So if you need it for medical, go ahead. So if the goal is to figure out what sort of regulations will stem the use of cannabis amongst teens, this study proves that either way really doesn't work. So if you want to make an impact on this, you're going to have to come up with something completely new, out of the box thinking. Otherwise, teens are just going to keep smoking, which, like I said, I don't like. But at least this study proves that overregulation is not the way to go, which I think is a positive and why I like it, because I'm not a fan of overregulating anything. Now for something we don't like, as some dipshit out there is trying to sell weed on Amazon. Can you believe that? That's right, we came across a listing on Amazon that claimed to be selling half ounces for $70, though there was no strain information, cultivation license, origin specified. The worst part, it didn't even qualify for Prime shipping. I mean, come on, what are you doing? Okay, before you go and run to the computer to see if it's still there, it's been taken down, of course, and rightfully so. I mean, besides the fact this person used no punctuation or sentence structure that made sense, or included any facts about the cannabis required everywhere else cannabis is sold, this was an idiotic idea from someone just asking to be banned on Amazon. How it got on there in the first place, I have no idea. There's no way the Amazon Marketplace is gonna jump in on cannabis sales before federal legalization, and I think the attempt to jump the gun can only hurt all of us in the industry. What are you doing, dumbass? Knock that stuff off. Okay, ending on a positive note, like we always do, baby. Positive. We alluded to it happening last year, but the San Francisco District Attorney announced that it would be vacating at least 9,300 cannabis convictions from individuals' records, using an advanced algorithm to identify cases that qualified. Now, this development will be applied to both misdemeanor and felony charges, so it could have a big impact in the lives of those who get their records cleared. As we all know, felony convictions can severely impact future employment, and it's tough to get places to live, all that stuff. So you can imagine that an individual's opportunities would greatly expand if their cannabis conviction was vacated. Assuming that is the only conviction on their record, right? I mean, big assumption, but whatever. But the real reason I like this is that it shows the continued effort of law enforcement, attorneys, all that stuff, to keep up with the times, or even to catch up with the times retroactively. I mean, it makes total sense that if you're gonna make something illegal that used to be illegal, you should go back and apply the same rules to prior cases. So I'm always happy to see people doing the right thing, or the thing that just makes sense, and that's why this made the favorite list this week. Okay, exciting stuff. So those are our favorite and least favorite things of the week. Which one do you like or dislike the most? Or do you want to share with us your favorite thing of the week? You got something that's cool? Share it with us at Stay Rooted and let us know your thoughts. That's going to do it for us on the show this week. Big thanks to our friends over at Cannabis Club TV, High Times TV, Harvest TV, or anyone else that airs our show. Big thanks to you for watching our show. My name's Tim Stromble, and I'll remind you one more time, work hard, be humble, and as always, stay rooted.